Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Wyrock. And this episode, we're looking at fatal birth defects. What is the impact of a short life? This comes from an article that was in the news recently looking at a particular condition called Trisomy 18 that exists in children who are born and live only a short time because of the condition. The reason why this story is so meaningful, of course, apart from the human element of the families who have these children, of the short lives that the children live, is because trisomy 18 and similar conditions and defects are used by those who do not hold to a pro-life position to argue for why you should terminate a pregnancy. The thinking goes that these lives of children with trisomy 18 are short and fraught with suffering, that everyone would just be better if they didn't happen at all. The problem with that line of reasoning is that it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. It doesn't hold up to actually reading the article and reading the stories of the families involved. You see, it comes from a faulty line of thinking, which is to say that the value of life is in its length. That unless you live for a long time, unless you have a full gamut of human experiences, life isn't worth living. But when you read the story, what you'll find is that actually the lives of these children are incredibly meaningful and incredibly impactful. The article focuses on two families, one whose child only lived 29 days, the other whose child continues to live, but a life fraught with difficulty and medical complications requiring pretty much around-the-clock care. But what's interesting in both of those scenarios, both devastating, although different kinds of devastation, is that both families say they wouldn't go back and do anything differently, that they are being shaped. Their lives are being enriched by the experience they had with their child, the experience they're having of providing care. That's because actually children who are born with this condition can teach us an incredible amount about suffering, about meaning, about purpose, about love, about relationships. In fact, in the article, what's interesting is the physician who's provided care to these children and to many others with this particular condition says that in the past, he would not have provided care to children with trisomy 18. He felt like he was prolonging suffering. But through his experience of providing care to families like this, he's changed his opinion. He actually says that his encounter with these families and their children have led to the most rewarding relationships of his entire career, that he's blown away by the love and attachment he sees in these families and in their children. You see, a child that lives 29 days or 2 or 3 years of suffering ends up impacting every single person he or she comes in contact with. Every nurse, every doctor, every family member, every friend who is forever changed by what they see, not just in the child, but in the family who loves and supports them. That's because God doesn't waste a life. That every life has meaning and impact. It shapes the world around it. It is used by God to accomplish incredible things. Of course, we wouldn't wish trisomy 18 on anyone, and we long for the day where we can live in a suffering-free world. But even the gospel of Jesus drives home the point that God uses suffering to bring about the good of all people. Jesus Christ is a sufferer, dying at the hands of an unjust government, the agonizing death of crucifixion. But God used his suffering, he used his death to rescue us all from sin and to secure the kingdom that is to come. Now, the pro-life viewpoint is that life itself is valuable. Its impact, its meaning is valuable. And that value isn't tied to length. It isn't tied to health, and it isn't tied to having the full gamut of human experiences. It's tied to the preciousness of every particular person. You read the article, you stand in awe of what these children produce and accomplish in the lives of those around them simply by going throughout their brief lives. That's because life is valuable. And as Christians, we should be the ones defending and substantiating the value of every life, no matter how short, no matter how fraught with suffering, because we see what God can do in the lives of each person. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to get future content from Wake Up, Look Up and from Christ Community Chapel. And while you're here, check out the other videos we have available.